everybody, this is Puppeting from I Love Puppets here on Xtreme Movie Show. That's right, this is a puppet takeover, and Froggy, hello there, Froggy.
Yeah, how's it going?
Are you excited for the puppet takeover of Xtreme Movie Show?
I'm extremely excited. Yeah, he's a very good.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're here today to talk about a brief mention of episode 5, but mostly episode 6. Have you watched these episodes?
Yeah, they're very good. Very inspiring and very educational.
Well, I will go with episode 6 for most of those descriptions. Episode 5, we're going to go ahead and give it a brief mention. Episode 5 does nothing to forward the plot of this show.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
Yeah, it was a very political, motivated, and nothing to do with the story. You got like maybe 5 seconds of the story, and then
that's
basically
right, because they see the dagger in a short video clip.
Yep, someone finds a dagger. That's all we know. Then everything else is basically has to do with riots, Black Lives Matter. It's like if you're into that, that's great. But for those who want to watch it for the story, yeah, this should have been like a special, and that's it, and nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah, what would you call it? A political special?
Yeah, CW Politics channel.
Yeah, well, I think that would fit. But episode 6 actually does move forward. And you know what? I think it's actually more important because it focuses on the characters that we're actually following.
Yes, Rage.
Yeah. Well, it starts off, I'm fairly certain, with Nikki and Henry, and they're looking for information on the dagger, which they did get a video clip of in episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
And they're searching for it, and it basically comes up that it will be coming to, I believe they're in San Francisco. Isn't that right, Froggy?
Yeah.
San Francisco, you could say.
Francisco, yeah.
Is that where you're from?
Yep. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, good to know. Good to know.
Just a hop to the left and a hop to the right.
You just go down the swamp, take a right. But yes, it's coming to Frisco, but it's going to be at a museum.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So Nikki goes, and she is trying to convince Henry through a lot of this episode that she wants to break in and get it because that's the only way that they can seem to acquire it.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry is not convinced. In fact, he downright says, "No, it's not worth it. We can't do this." And Nikki says, "Fine, you don't have to." And she plans to do it alone.
She should. Yeah, she should. She did do it alone. She's a main star. You know, if the guy doesn't want to help her, she'd do it on her own.
Well, she's about to. But during this episode, just a few honorable mentions, which is Althea. She is approached later on by a lawyer who wants her to sign an NDA, and she refuses. Afterwards, she's approached by Henry, who's not receiving enough hours at the clinic. And why? Because the clinic doesn't have enough funding. They're letting people go. They say that they're going to be lucky to survive to the end of the year. And he goes to ask Althea for money and ask if maybe her old boss would be interested, and she's clearly bothered by that. However, apparently Henry goes to them and says what she plans to do, to break into the museum. And fairly quickly, they all come and approach her, and she's like, "You're not going to stop me." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, we know. We're going to help you." Cue team-up music.
Yeah, this one will come in correct. Yeah. You said Henry. It's actually named Ryan. Ryan's the brother.
Oh, when I said Henry, I meant
Henry doesn't.
Friend.
Henry. Okay, yeah, but you said about the medical thing. Ryan needs that.
Oh, Ryan is the name of her brother.
Yeah, Henry is the guy that she's kind of like having relations with.
Yes. It would be very awkward if it were Ryan.
I told me to be very upset about that. I'd be full of rage.
Well, we don't have to rage because they're two different characters completely.
Yeah, there's no machine. I need a machine against because we need a rage against machine, but there's no machine.
Well, you can rage against the machine, Froggy.
Rage.
So from there, we basically go to this museum party. Also have to mention that that Nikki's mom and dad are out on a date that night. They've closed up shop just for that night, so that way they can have a date night, and that's very sweet.
Yeah, he's like, put on that dress. I want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I haven't worn that dress in a while. He's like, well, it's time to pull down. She's like, okay. And the funny part is that the mother, I liked how the mother kind of like gave Henry the party, the gala thing when they were there. She's like, so Henry, you're talking about what are you going to see yourself doing after all this? And he's like, well, be a teacher. And it's revealed later that she knows that his past. She heard things people talk about him. And I love how the father sticks up for him. He's basically just says to the mother, and he's like, I wasn't that much different, back then. It kind of reminds me of someone. He's like, no. And she's like, no, it's not you. It's like, yeah, you was me. Remember? I was a guy, waiter. You met me in the alleyway. I was smoking a cigarette. I had no future until I met you. And then, ooh.
The father there is one of the best, just overall people of this show. He really brings that heartwarming feeling that you need when you focus a show on family. And yeah, their time there meeting Henry is quite interesting, to say the least.
Yep.
But it's worth a mention of what they're actually there for. So Nikki and I believe it was Henry, they go off and take the opportunity to go ahead down and collect the dagger.
Yeah, but I do like the fact that we got a little bit like almost like a Catwoman vibe I got from Nikki. She went by herself and she basically memorized all the exits and basically made sketches of them and made a map or a notebook while going to the museum, came back, and she's like, Henry, this is how we do it. And he's like, no, we can't do it. But so Nikki, feeling defeated, went home. Turns out that Henry showed up and he's like, yeah, I got Althea, and then I also got your brother Ryan. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
I never said that wasn't going to help you. At least we need no more people. So now we get that team, the Shen family Shen going to break in.
Oh, yeah. And they're going to handle it.
Yeah, it's like Ocean Shen.
Mm-hmm. And when they do eventually get down there, while the party's going on, they collect the dagger. But right before the commercial break, a few ominous figures step up with a shaven head, and they're clearly thugs.
Because they're weirded out because Nikki said when Althea hacked in, she's like, no, that's weird. The servers are already down. The cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So right then there we knew something was gonna happen. Yeah. So they go down there. Yes, go downstairs. Nikki and Henry, they're confronted by goons. 300 men, and Henry says, it'd be kind of stupid to fire those guns because everyone would know we're here then. So they're like, okay, we'll do hand-to-hand combat. And that does not work out for them. Oh, it was not good.
Some awesome fighting, indeed. I really do enjoy the fighting of this show. For a CW show, it's pretty good.
Nikki kicks really good butt, and then Henry's not that bad either. I'm like, this is awesome. The big dude, he got knocked taken down. I was like, oh my goodness, I was like, that's amazing.
But we need to talk about what happens after they get the dagger, because they do, and they return to the party, and she sees her dad talking to a woman. It's Zhao Lin.
Yeah,
the villain of this series. It's okay, Froggy. It's okay. Don't worry yet.
She's a scary lady. She killed a guy already.
Mm-hmm.
She killed two people.
Definitely plays her character well.
Cute but deadly, like me.
After they have quite a conversation. This scene, you can feel a slight twinge of intensity there. Mm-hmm. And her dad is blissfully unaware that this is the woman that killed Nikki's Shifu.
Yeah.
And eventually, the Zhao Lin, after saying, "Oh, is that your wife over there? She looks so lonely. Maybe you should go join her. I look forward to talking to Nikki about her time in China." And so after she's saying how it's better off if she just stays away from all this, that she has a second chance.
Yeah,
She thought she died. She was better off just taking it. And she like sneaks around her and puts her arms down across her head.
This is the moment that the show got very extreme.
Extreme in one sense, yes.
Yeah.
For a second there, you would think you were watching Batwoman, but that's beside the point. Hands get in the pockets to pull out the dagger, and Xiaolin makes a run for it. Nikki immediately is going to go after her. Everybody's trying to convince her not to because it's dangerous.
She was stopped by her ex-boyfriend. The DA says like, "What are you up to?" And she's like, "I'm just here for the party," and he and then. So that guy's getting in hot water with his wife or fiance or something, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's just, come on, bro, just let it go. Because that's what
he's got to move on or do something.
If he doesn't know, the thing is, he's implicating himself. If she admits, then he's part of it.
Yeah, but she does run out there. She does. She goes and she confronts Xiaolin. And they have a fight. And Xiaolin, all during this, is saying, "You didn't know your Shifu as well as you think. She has no right to be a Shifu. She killed our father."
Ooh, I got the theory about that. She killed their father because he was evil.
Maybe. Because that's why she stole the sword.
Yeah, or maybe it was an accident, or maybe someone else killed him. And she thinks that it was the sister. When the sister actually was who had happened to be there behind the body first.
I think it might be something like that too. We'll have to wait down the line because Nikki, while she does put up a good fight, she gets her ass handed to her and she's stuck on the ground. And Xiaolin just walks away because
that was crazy. Yeah. Like I was like, oh my gosh, they're actually fighting, and I was like, oh, of course. And then they went to the whole arrow pan out scene where she's knocked on the ground, and you see the person walk. It's from the ground up view. The pavement. She walks up, and then she leans over, grabs the dagger, then walks away.
Yeah.
And that's how it ends. And she's like, ugh.
So, like we said, we're not going to mention episode 5 at all. We're not going to talk about how we really felt about that episode. It's not worth discussing. But this episode absolutely was. I thought it was fairly good.
Yeah.
I have to say that I think this might be one of the best episodes thus far.
The fighting, yes, I love more fighting. If we give him more fight scenes, holy crap, I want more of that.
We forgot one thing. Althea,
oh yeah,
she was approached by a lawyer to sign an NDA and she refused. She called back and said that she will sign it for $500,000 to be paid at Ryan's clinic.
Medical clinic, yeah, he works for. Yeah, it's a free clinic for all the free people who don't have health insurance.
Yeah, and you know what? She doesn't really need the money because she is going to be marrying a fairly rich man. But she wanted to go ahead and put that money to good use. She didn't feel like she doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to admit it.
Also, because is that the reason that she signed the NDA because they threatened her fiance's family, and then she found out that through her fiance that they just helped sponsor a award for someone's kid to get the cancer treatments. So they're basically like the fiance said, he's like, yeah, my family believes it. Any money we get goes right back to the society. We don't if we feel guilty otherwise.
Yeah.
So they're nice people. Oh.
But yeah, I think we need to figure out what else is going to happen. I believe we don't get an episode of Kung Fu for 2 weeks, Froggy.
Oh,
it's okay. It'll come back. And hopefully it'll stick along this trend. Solid first 4 episodes, and this would be a solid 5th episode. This episode 6 would be a solid 5th episode.
It's very solid.
There you go. And that's our review. We want to thank you all so much for watching. We know the puppet takeover is a little odd for people, a little mind-boggling, if you will.
Yeah.
But we think we covered it fairly well, don't you, Froggy?
Yeah.
And maybe we'll come back and do some more. We don't know. We'll have to consult Mr. Venkman, Dr. Venkman, and Pixel next week or the couple weeks. And so we want to thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the Xtreme Movie Show and I Love Puppets if you have the time. Make sure to like this video. We want to chop our way to the top. We are on our way to 1,000, even though we've been kind of at a slump on this channel. We want to build it up. Isn't that right, Froggy?
Yeah, build it up.
Pop those numbers. Yeah, like that. And make sure to comment. We want to hear what you think about this show. Episode 5 or 6. Go ahead. Tell us what you think. And we will see you next time.
And as always,
stay extreme. Oh, yeah. Extreme.